Hello everyone, this is Gary from Fantastic Fundas, and in this lecture today we are going to talk about the peasant movement and their role in the 1920s and their role in the nationalism. I've already given the background of this lecture in the earlier lecture, so if you do not know this, please go through the last lecture, the lecture before this, and see last 5 minutes of it again. Okay, so I'll just quickly begin with the topic, and first thing we are going to talk about is the Kisan Sabha movement. Kisan Sabha. Okay, now Kisan Sabha, this movement happened in Awadh, and this was in UP, and this was from 1918 to 1921. Actually, you know this thing that Awadh was the next track, right? Now it was 1856, I guess. Yeah, it was 1856 only, right? And then there were a few people like Talukdars. Talukdars are the big zamindars. Now they were strengthened. How? They could collect the exorbitant rent. They could collect the levies. They could collect the Nazrana. What do you mean by Nazrana? Nazrana is a renewal fees. So this has been asked in paper once or twice. What is Nazrana? Okay, the renewal fees was there, and Bedakli was there. Bedakli is a word of common usage in legal terminology. That means arbitrary ejectments. Okay, the Bedakli is ejectment, but here it meant arbitrary ejectment. Okay, so these are the powers they had. Right, initially what had happened that members of the Home Rule League, okay, these people, they started the Kisan Sabhas. This is Kisan Sabha we were talking about, and slowly these movements spread, right? And there were many Kisan Sabhas. The one we are talking about, this is also known as the UP Kisan Sabha or Awadh Kisan Sabha, okay, and this was started in February 1918 by 3 people: MIG, MiG Viman, MiG aeroplane. And who are these people? Number 1 is Malviya, Madan Mohan Malviya, MIG, I Indra Narayan Dvivedi, and G is Gauri Shankar Mishra, right? Such things, okay. So basically some members of HRL had joined Gandhi and some had joined these movements, and out of these movement people who came, Madan Mohan Malviya and Indra Narayan Dvivedi and Gauri Shankar Mishra, they started what is known as the Awadh Kisan Sabha or UP Kisan Sabha. And a large number of peasant, that is Kisan delegates, they were called as Kisan delegates. They would they attended the Delhi and Amritsar sessions of the they came to Delhi and Amritsar to attend the sessions of the All India UP Kisan Sabha. Now at this time there was something important done by them, which is called as the Nai Dhobi Bandh, and it was a form of a social boycott that was organized. Okay, social boycott, right? And this time there is a very important story. I will not write much. I'll just tell you about the people. There was a person called Baba Ramchandra. Baba Ramchandra is there. So Baba Ramchandra is there. He carried a copy of Ramayana with himself, and wherever he went, he would open the book and tell the people verses. Wherever he would see a person, he would start teaching that person. Basically, he was teaching rural people. And once he went to a village, and over there, he met 2 people. One was Gauri Shankar Mishra, who's the founder of this Awadh Kisan Sabha, and he also met JL Nehru over there, Jawaharlal Nehru. Nehru was also working in rural areas quite a lot at that time, and because of this contact of Baba Ramchandra and Nehru made quite a lot of visits. He started visiting rural area. Okay, and he developed, and this is how Nehru developed contacts with the Kisan Sabha movement. That is how it all began. Okay, now what had happened that the Kisans had found sympathy in a person who was a DC of Pratapgarh, and the name of the DC was Mehta. Okay, now what happened that DC, this person, this deputy commissioner, he promised to investigate the complaints of the Kisans over there, right? So this Mehta, he made a promise. So people were very happy now. Complaints of what? That there was forceful Bedakli, forceful Nazrana. These were the crucial complaints, okay, of the tenants, right? One day, what happened that this Mehta, he went on leave. Okay, not only went on leave, now at this time, as I told you, there were talukdars in these areas who were exploiting people. When Mehta was away, talukdar again started exploiting people, and these people, this Baba Ramchandra and what do you call this, this person and many other people, like, they were arrested, right? These were people were arrested, and they were arrested on the charge of theft. Now he is a Baba, he is a saint. What kind of theft he would be interested in? So there was lot of protest by the people, and now rumor fell over there that Gandhiji is coming to liberate from the situation. But Gandhiji was not coming. This was just a rumor. And suddenly Baba Ramchandra, he gave darshan to the people from the sugarcane farm, above from the sugarcane trees. He was standing on them. So Mehta was called back immediately, and Mehta withdrew the case of this theft case against the Baba Ramchandra, right? And he pressurized zamindars to talukdar, these people, to change their ways. This is the role of Mehta over here. This can be asked in your paper. Now, and this is how it was going on. And at Congress session hua tha, at Calcutta session of Congress, okay, 1920, you remember there were two sessions, Calcutta and Nagpur. In September session of Calcutta, they had chosen the path of non-violence, right? But Madan Mohan Malviya, he was still talking about constitutional agitation, okay. So that difference also shows up here. How? See, in UP Kisan Sabha, there were non-cooperators who set up new Kisan Sabha because people were angry. So they set up what is called as Aud Kisan Sabha. Aud Kisan Sabha. Those differences creeped in here also, because Madan Mohan Malviya did not believe in Gandhian way. He just believed in constitutional agitation, did not believe Gandhian way of breaching the constitution. So in 1920, Aud Kisan Sabha is separated over there, right? And it asked the people that that to refuse Bedakli, okay, that you should not pay Bedakli, and not to offer Hari or Begar. Hari or Begar basically means a form of unpaid labor, okay. We've done this thing in polity also. Begar is abolished in India, okay. I hope you've gone through that lecture of polity. Anyway, and there were important leaders overall at this movement were, if I have to sum it up, it was Nehru. It wasn't exactly Aud Kisan Sabha. All of them, they said we should not do Bedakli, Hari and Begar and all that, okay. So there is Nehru, there is Baba Ramchandra, there is Kedarnath. So Kedarnath, okay, Ram was there, Baba Ramchandra is there. So how can Shiv be far? So Kedarnath, that is Shiv, he also comes, okay. And Mata Badal Pandey, Mata Badal Pandey, and this person also comes, right? And 1921 onward, what happened, that the nature of activity of Kisan Sabha, it goes under change, right? 1921 onwards, the nature of the Kisan Sabha changes. What happened? That the center of the activity, which are Rai Bareli and Faizabad, okay, and there is also looting of bazaar houses and granaries, okay, and they basically committing crimes, and government very easily using force suppress them. That is why I kept on saying that violence will not lead you anywhere. And then finally, what had happened in 1921, government passed the Seditious Meeting Act. Seditious Meeting Act. Okay. And all the political activity came to standstill, right? And then government passed the Outh Rent Amendment Act. Outh Rent Amendment Act. Outh is Awadh only, okay. Awadh Rent Amendment Act, and gave little relief to the tenants, and it helped to rouse the hopes, and basically and also decline of the movement. So people's hopes have risen, they have been given the carrot, and people's the movement has declined. So this is the end of the movement, right? Now we'll move to the Eka movement. Eka movement, basically peasant discontent. This is again Awadh region only, right? And but this time the centers were little different from earlier. This time the centers were like, you might have heard of these places, Hardoi or Bharat or Sitapur. So such places are there in UP where this was happening. Initial thrust was basically given by the Congress and the Khilafat agitation only, right? That is also the theme of this today's lecture, which the origin of this lecture. So that is the lent for Eka unity. Eka means, Eka is a Hindi word. Eka, yeah, that means unity. This is the focus was unity. Actually, the main problem was that the Britishers were having lot of rent. For example, if the recorded rent Britishers were seeking was, let's say, 40 rupees. So what was actually taken from the peasant was 60 rupees. That is number one problem. So 50% higher than the recorded rent. Number two is that the thekedar, they were oppressing a lot of people, and this because in the process of rent collection. So what happened, that these Eka meetings were there. they used to have this religious ritual. They would dig a hole, put water in it, and call it Ganga, which would represent Ganga. And priest was there, they would pray it, and then they would take a vow that they would pay only recorded rent and not extra rent. They would take a vow of Ganga, recorded rent, right? And it wouldn't leave, they won't leave when ejected. Even if they are ejected, these people will not leave, right? And then they refuse to do forced labor. So that was the movement. Okay, no rejection, no forced labor. You cannot force us to do anything. That is one aspect of the movement. Number two is there were some grassroots level leaders, like there was Madari Pasi, very important leader of Indian struggle. Madari Pasi, he came into prominence. These low caste leaders, they did not believe in non-cooperation. They were not a believer of the non-cooperation. And Eka movement, because of these people, Eka movement's contact with the Congress declined. Okay, and because after that it went on its own way. This movement, this was not associated with Congress. So we are studying only how much it was associated with the main central movement. And Kisan Sabha, see, there is one difference between Eka movement and Kisan Sabha movement. See, this is Kisan Sabha and this is Eka movement. Okay, see what had happened in Kisan Sabha, only tenants, okay, were there, but in Eka movement there was small zamindar also involved in it. The exploitation was by the bigger zamindar. This remained in the nationalistic hold. Okay, the Nehru big leaders were involved. Here there were smaller leaders involved, and this got cut off from the nationalistic movement. And then finally in March in the 1922 there was severe repression, and after this Eka movement comes to an end. Okay, Eka movement khatam ho gayi. Now we will quickly do the Mappilah rebellion. Mappilah. Okay, and basically this was an extended version of Khilafat movement in Kerala in the year 1921. Okay, and August 1920, this was peasant movement, and this was in the Malabar district of Kerala. And Mappilah is a group of Muslims. Okay, and what was the grievances? Grievances are common. Okay, for example, the same grievance, renewal fees, right? Nazrana, that is high rent. They call it Nazran. They don't call it, but it is a renewal fee. High rent, and the way it is collected, and no security of tenure. Tenure is not secured, and oppressive landlord exactions. Okay, so that is the problem. So Manjari conference was held over here. It is related to this movement. This word Manjari conference related to Mappilah. And impetus for resistance came from first the Malabar district Congress conference. Okay, that was held at Manjari. That is how the Manjari conference is known. Malabar Congress conference was held at Manjari in 1920. From there the real movement started, but after that the movement really got hold only in 1921. So this conference supported the tenants, and they demanded the legislation. They started asking for a law to regulate the landlord and tenant relationship. And then Khilafat movement and the tenant agitation, basically this Mappilah and the Khilafat was so much into each other that it was not able to differentiate between the two. Okay, so because after this what had happened at the central level, that because of Khilafat, government was already very angry. So what do? They also think that this is also Khilafat movement only. Mappilah rebellion, main leader of the movement are arrested, and Mappilahs got very angry, and they also came to know that British were weak because of World War I. They thought this is the right time that we should defy the authority of the Britishers and have control over them. But then the real thing happened with the final break that came over here. It came when the district magistrate over there, right, of Eranad Taluk. Which Taluk? Eranad. Of Eranad Taluk, his name was E.F. Thomas. So the district magistrate, he raided the mosque in some area which is known as Tirurangadi. Okay, this was the mosque, and they arrested a person over here whose name was Ali Muzliyar. And when he was arrested, there are rumors that the Mamrat mosque has been destroyed by the Britishers, and after the arrest of the Muzliyar. Okay, because of this rumor over there spread, there was a lot of violence happening, and once the violence happens, you know this thing, it is very easy to suppress the movement, and they did that only, right? Basically what government did over there, the Indians were like, they were peaceful. The government fired on the peaceful people, and because of who were seeking the release of their leader, that is Muzliyar. And then after this, when government did not help, people also got violent at that time. They burned government offices. government offices and public records, and all the treasury was looted. Such things were happening by the people then, right? Now, so what government does, it imposes the martial law. So government know how to handle violence very well. And movement, but now by this time the movement was now communal movement, and this isolated Mappilahs from the mainstream, and British repression did the rest of the work. Now after this Mappilahs, they neither joined the national movement nor the peasant movement, right, which grows in the Kerala in the latest year, later on years, right? That becomes the weakness of the Mappilah movement. Now main leaders of this movement were people like Varian Kunnat, okay, it's not Varianath, right, it's Varian Kunnat Kunj, Ahmad Haji. So he was the main person, one of the main important leaders here. There were people like, there was a Sithi Kaya, very tough names to remember. And then of course there was Ali Musliyar, if you don't remember anything. Normally they would not like to ask you beyond Ali Musliyar in your paper, right? And it was such a strong movement that the government had to come up with Malabar Special Police also. Malabar Special Police. That was the thing about this movement. And then after this we'll talk about the Bardoli Satyagraha. Essentially Bardoli Satyagraha, that it happens in 1928, okay? But I'm mentioning it here because it is in this flow, the things that we are studying, the non-text movement and all those movement. That is why I am talking it here. So there was a non-text movement, and it was launched in Bardoli Taluka of Surat, right? And in 1922, what had happened, that the Bardoli Taluka, that is the place where Gandhiji thought of starting CDM also, okay? But events in Chauri Chaura and changed all. If you remember, this, the Bardoli is the same place, Bardoli. Now, what happens that, but situation had changed, and there was intense politicization by now. So something had to be done in this area. Something would definitely come up in this politicization. So after NCM was called off, non-cooperation movement, Congressmen and Bardoli, they did nothing for the untouchable. Congressmen were not able to do anything, or they did nothing rather for the untouchable and the tribals. Congress did not do anything for them. So, but they were the people who were really working for the NCM movement. So Congress now after this Congress started working for the people. Central Congress, they thought of this. They started working for the people who were known as the Kalip Raj. Kalip means dark people. Kalip Kala, dark people. The rule of the dark people. That is what it meant, right? And then there was also something called, there was other group called as Ujli Paraj. Ujli Paraj. So there was one Kalip Paraj and there was other Ujli Paraj. Ujli Paraj means fair people. The main leaders over there who were acting in this Bardoli movement at this time were Kumarji Mehta. Okay, let me just write it. Kumarji Mehta and Keshavji Ganeshji. Keshavji Ganeshji. These were the main people over here, and they learned the tribal dialect and they developed Kalip Raj literature also. So that is how it went. Kalip Raj literature was developed by them, right? And they slowly, they basically, to arouse the Kalip Raj, that is why it was came. And against the Hali system, it was there. Hali system is the where people worked as laborer, as hereditary laborers for upper caste landowners. That is how, and they wanted these people, Kumarji Mehta and Keshavji Ganeshji, they promoted that we should not be having intoxicating drinks and high marriage expenses, which was quite common among the people, these Kalip Raj people at that time, right? Now Gandhiji, who heads the Kalip Raj conference. Okay, this movement is quite a long movement. It starts in 1922. That's one of the reasons we are doing it. Gandhiji heads the Kalip Raj movement in 1927 and he names it Rani Paraj. Rani Paraj means the inhabitants of the forest. And Congress had also built up considerable base in these Kalip Raj people, right? And they could count on their support. So at this time, the person who took the leadership was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, right? He had, Patel, when he took the leadership, he was quite an experienced man by this time. For example, he had led the Kheda Satyagraha. He also led the Nagpur Flag Satyagraha. And he was also involved in the Borsad Punitive Tax Satyagrahis. Borsad Punitive Tax Satyagraha movement. So he was involved in all these satyagrahas already. He was a leader in Gujarat. Patel was a leader in Gujarat only next to Gandhi. So women of Bardoli would call Sardar Patel as Sardar. The title Sardar was given to Vallabhbhai Patel by the women of Gujarat for his contribution. There were also many women involved in Gujarat at this time. Who are those women? For example, there was let me write the name properly so that you can note down them. Mithu Ben Patel, right? A Parsi lady from Bombay. Then there was Mani Ben Patel. Who is she? She is Sardar Patel ki daughter, right? And daughter of Patel. And there was also Sharda Mehta. Mithu Ben Patel, Manibal Patel, Sharda Mehta. Such people were involved. Okay. At some meetings, women even outnumbered men. This was happening. And Congress worked with Kalipraj people to help them. So Kalipraj people Congress played a great role. And Bombay workers at that time went on strike, and threat of railways was going on strike to stop the movement of troops and supplies, such things, right? There were threats all around. So this was happening, okay, and for the government. And now Punjab also offered to send jathas. Punjab offered jathas to be sent to Bardoli for the Satyagraha, for the non-violent movement, okay. Now Gandhi ji, he came to Bardoli again, in 1928 to take over if Patel was arrested. As a backup, Gandhi came over there, but Patel was leading. And finally, government had to reduce the rent from 30% to 6%. And this was a retreating saving phase for the government, and the movement had been won. Okay. So that was all about these lectures. Now in the next lecture, I will be talking to you about the Gurudwara Reform Movement, and also the temple entry movement, or the temple reform movements. Okay, and with this the NCM will completely end. Right now, before I quickly leave, right, I'll just ask you one request. Please, share this lecture with others on your social media. A lot of you do and a lot of you don't. If you are benefiting, at least do this much. You're getting this for free. You pay some price at least, and that is sharing, right? And you can click on the like button. That will also help me a lot. And lastly, if you want this video and all the future videos to come right into your email box, then you will you'll have to subscribe to our YouTube channel, okay? And you can do this by clicking here. And finally, we are doing as much as current affair possible on our website fantasticfundas.com. Those would not be exhaustive for now, but we'll try to make them exhaustive as much as possible, right? So that is all, and thank you so much for watching this.